Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers, you're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and sitting across the Holotable from me is Josh, a.k.a. the Golden Pop-Tart.
So we have stopped our travels around the world from the last couple weeks to...
We've seen it all.
Right? Come back to the Holotables, and it's time. I feel like it's been forever.
It has. How do we even do this? I'm so nervous. Everything I click, like when I clicked record, I was like, oh my God, now what do we do?
Yes.
I don't even know. I streamed earlier today.
Nice.
And, well, first of all, it's not Grand Arena season right now, so I streamed Star Wars Hunters, which I also haven't played in weeks. And it was just such a weird experience. I'm like, I don't remember how to stream. I don't remember how to play this game. What is happening? But yeah, it is good to be back in the podcasting, I don't know, back in the basement.
Chair room. Yeah, there you go, right?
Because, you know, whenever you take a week off, it does, to me, I don't know, it always feels like something's missing.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You take two in a row. It doesn't happen very often that we do two in a row. And it's like, who am I?
I know, right?
I don't even know what's going on. But thank you for coming back. We'll see. We'll see when we release it. If anyone, just crickets for weeks, like no one's listened to it. Oh man, it's been kind of like the best time in the game to take 2 weeks off, because really we didn't have a whole lot of news.
No.
Until today, or yesterday, well, the last couple days, a little bit of news about Balin's Skull came out, so we'll talk about that. That's all like perfectly like shrouded in mystery. We still don't know exactly what's going on with Balin's Skull, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about, 2 weeks of gameplay. Grand Arena, I'm sure we both finished very strong.
We'll of course, that. Yes.
Jar Jar, all of that. That could be an episode unto itself. But that and so much more. But first, we missed a couple weeks of them, so I'm not going to go back because that would be effort. And you know how
yes,
I
that
am
would
with
be.
effort. We've talked about this. But let's celebrate some upcoming Blurf days. All right, Blurf days this week. Not a whole lot, but there's some good ones. Yeah. We've got on the 9th, we've got Embo turning 6 years old. Only took me 6 years to give you that Omicron, but I finally did it.
Well, it took 6 years for them to be... He's still at level 1 for me, but it's soon to be 85. He is so close.
On your radar.
He's almost a 7-star, so I'm not allowing him that, any type of pleasure of getting up to 85 until we get to 7 stars. But
yeah,
you're welcome. Happy Blurf Day to you.
We also, let's see, on the 10th, we have a double Blurf Day. Big party. Chuck E. Cheese is just going to be a mess. All these Blurf Day parties. CLS is turning 7 years old. Commander Luke, the very first hero's journey. And really, he's the only hero's journey, isn't he? I think.
You just said something about effort, so I'm not sure at that point.
Jedi Training Rey might have been a hero's journey, like her and... I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. But he was revolutionary when he came out. He was so good. He was break the game good. He literally there was nothing he couldn't do. He completely trivialized the Rancor raid. Once you had him,
love that.
You could just solo it by yourself, just him. I
remember doing that, and that was just awesome. Like that was that was really cool. There was something about basically being able to just like take it over. But I agree. Even now to this day, it's still a character that you just have to have, right? I mean, you have it. I mean, I don't use it all the time, but in most cases, like it's guaranteed to be doing something. Yeah. Territory battles right now. Guess what? He's in there.
CLS.
Yep.
Yeah. People talk he's one of those guys that people talk all the time about him, the way they do Lord Vader, where it's like, his time's through. He's no good anymore. There's no one uses CLS. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Maybe the tip of the spear are over CLS. I'd buy that.
Yeah.
But 99% of the people who play this game regularly use CLS.
Agreed.
If they haven't, I guess.
Yeah.
I would.
You would think at this point. I mean,
most
basically,
people who play this game have them at this point.
The way it's now, I mean, you get so much stuff free as a new person or easier. I mean, it's pretty dang easy. Other than, was it R2? Do you have to do R2 for that one?
Yeah.
So I guess that was the
bit
one
of work to be done. Yeah,
but I guess now, if you think about it, have you gone back and did the journey guide stuff, like of the old stuff?
I went back through and replayed some of it. Not when it first came out, but like within the last you know what? My brain doesn't do time. I don't know how long ago it was.
Ages.
I know I've done
years and decades.
6 months or more ago.
Okay,
I will say.
Works.
Just trying to like 3-star everything, like anything that I missed. And honestly, that doesn't sound like a bad idea to go through and do that again sometime when it's not territory battle or
agreed. It's something fun to just kind of go through just to see. I mean, especially like the Yoda event. I mean, it just seems like even the Thrawn event now too. I mean, I redid that one in all relics, and then I'm just like, man, I beat the crap out of him. I'm like, take that, Thrawn.
Yeah,
because that was so horrible. But
one AOE and everything drops.
I know, right?
Just as it should be. Also on the 10th, we have Scout Trooper turning 1 year old. So is she accelerated yet? Is she? I think.
Ooh,
if she's,
I haven't seen anything on that. Maybe I need to check the feeds.
Keep an eye out. Yeah, by the time this releases, it may be, because I feel like they've been really on with those. So if not, then very soon, Scout Trooper. All right, let's take a look at this week's upcoming in-game events brought to you by swgohevents.com for a complete list of past, present, and future events. swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. This week is loaded, and I love it. It's a lot to do. Like I said, we have conquest going on. We have territory battles going on. By the time this releases, territory battles will be close to being done. But conquest is really the big time sink anyways. All right, so on the 9th, we have an Omega battle, Imperial Fleet. That's it. The 10th brings us Military Might, the assault battle with clones and rebels. That's a good one. We also have Battle for Mandalore, the epic confrontation for Bo-Katan. Mandalore.
Good luck, everybody out there that's doing that. I'm never redoing that one, by the way. Actually, I did the last time around just to kind of see. Oh, it didn't go well. It's like I wasn't going to remod or anything like that, man.
Yeah, that's the thing about these hero guide or journey guide things is the old ones. Yeah, sure, I can smoke Palpatine or Yoda or whatever. But as they go on, the more recent ones are seriously like I don't ever want to. Nope, don't want to do it.
Yeah,
because they're. I'm not redoing that Jar Jar thing. Are you kidding me? You couldn't pay me enough to do that again. You could. I'd do stupid things for money.
Yeah.
But on the 11th, we have Executrix Fleet Mastery, as well as a Territory War sign up because territory battles will be done. Oh,
I'm ready.
I'm so ready. We also, moving on, to the 12th, we have an Omega battle on Coruscant. We have a Fleet Mastery for Finalizer, and then Grand Arena, Season 56, there's no better words in the English language than 5v5.
I know.
We're
I'm
back,
ready,
baby. This is the grand arena that I was born to play. I love it. That's when the sign up is on the 12th. So we'll be setting defenses on the 13th, and on the 14th, baby, we're going to battle. I love it. On the 13th, there's no special events that we know of. On the 14th, we have a Defense of Dathomir. That's where you get your Talzin shards and or Zetas. We also have another assault battle. This will be Rebel Roundup. And then a Defense of Dathomir is just listed twice. Good job, Sean. And then on the 15th,
I did actually think there's some... They said that this might be there, too, because we've had the issues with the other pieces to it. So being that Maul has been...
Oh, that was Defensive Dathomir. Yeah, that's right.
So if Maul's not
twice
fixed...
for the 14th... So,
true. Yeah, it is twice in there. Well, maybe
I think the plan was to drop it, like give us 4 this month to make up for the 2 that didn't work. So ultimately, we come out a couple Zetas ahead.
Hey, I'll take it. Now, if it still doesn't work, if Grievous is still well,
you know what? Because they fixed it, right? And that's what goofed up Jar Jar. So they fixed Jar Jar. Now we'll see if this screwed up. I could not picture a funnier scenario.
I know,
this.
right?
I would love it.
I mean, there's probably somebody out there that needs those shards right now. Or like, what is happening? Like, what? Yeah. I mean, almost like I was during the Spirit time when it was horrible, but the Spirit time is like, I don't know.
Is that where you wear your pajamas to school?
So, right? I mean, I Ouija board to get me some zombie instead of some spirit, I guess.
I love it. On the 15th, we've got another Territory War sign up. That is number 338. And then we've got a discarded doctrine for anyone working on that Executor.
Still me.
That's your day. How many stars are you at? 6?
Not enough.
Still
I'm at 6.
Are you 6?
Yeah, I'm at 6, yeah. And I mean, I have not put any extra crystals into it, so I know I should have, but... No.
Well, it's hard when you're working on so much right now, too. I get it. Because I never got to the point where I was working on more than one capital ship. I came close. I finished Executor right before Profundity dropped. And right before I was ready for Profundity. Because I wasn't ready for it when it dropped. But
yeah.
Anyways. What a week. What a week. It has been a good week. It has been a terrible week. It's just been a weird week.
It's been a week.
Let's do a quick shout out though for our Patreon followers, supporters, I should say, because they don't just follow. All of y'all follow, but only the elite, those with real courage and disposable income.
Yes, there you go.
That support us on Patreon. We really appreciate it so much. Even when we take a couple of weeks off. But hey, we're back. We're back. That was a glitch. We are totally back. Your support makes this podcast possible. And if you support us there, you get access to the VIP section of our Discord server for some behind the scenes banter that the regs just don't get to experience. Now then, punch it, Pop-Tart.
Well, let's start in the realm of question marks, just because
that's a fun
right. You know, I mean,
start. Yeah.
Balin Scroll has been popping into the forums, and a lot of people are talking about the requirements.
I like to picture him out on Peridea with a little laptop popping into the forums.
There you go. Like, hey guys, you know what my requirements are? Yes. But yeah, so there's been a lot of talk about, well, we already know some of the requirements, and I started to look around. I'm like, I guess we do know some of the requirements. But there's also some where I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it came from CG. I'm pretty confident. And again, there's someone right now going, I know, I've heard. So thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thrawn looks like has to be Relic 7. So obviously that makes total sense for it.
That's like a gimme.
Yeah, right.
He's relic 6, and that irritates me. Something should not be at an even relic level.
I agree with you. 6 doesn't make sense. Just like 1, 2, and 6 just don't work for me. I mean, really 4 as well. I'm not a fan of 4.
Completely agree.
Wow, there's something wrong with this. But anyways, Morgan Elsbeth she's going to be relic 7. So I think that was said. CG did say that. Now, the other 2 that I'm seeing online is Great Mothers, which sounds like that's probably going to be released next week, most likely. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And then lastly, I'm going to butcher this name, but Shin Hatai, maybe?
Hati. I'm saying Hati. Yeah. I don't actually know how to say the actress's name. And maybe I'm messing up the character name too, but I mean, I call her Shin, whatever, but
Shin.
Hati. That's like Star Wars just kind of telling you right on the tin there.
There you go.
Hottie. Sometimes it just says exactly what.
There you go.
What it is, right? I don't know.
So I mean, she needs to be relic 7, and so if in case that's true, I hope it is, right? So if it's those 4, and then the extra piece to that is somewhere in the universe here, there's talk about them also being part of maybe a mercenary faction, or is that something else? Like, so many questions. So is it real? Like the requirement's real? And secondly, they're not, they can't be a mercenary group, can they?
I don't know. Here's the, let me put a little disclaimer on this whole podcast, this whole episode. I just came back from vacation and I kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, there you go. I understand.
So here's what I know. Arnold T put out a video claiming that there is a new faction confirmed. There's a picture of Balin's skull on it. I spend a decent amount of time on Reddit. I haven't scoured it, but I didn't see. I just know that because that like popped up in my YouTube feed, and I haven't watched the video, so shame on me. Should have done my homework, but I haven't seen a confirmation from CG. Maybe it's out there and I haven't seen it, but like, I don't know. And it would kind of make sense, like mercenary, because you can't. I shouldn't say you can't, but I would see why you wouldn't call them Sith.
Yeah.
Even though they feel real Sithy.
They do.
They're not Inquisitors, even though they feel real Inquisitory. Inquisitory is, boy, the transcripts are
there you go, right?
The fact that I just said Inquisitory 3 times. So, yeah, what do you call them? Like,
well, and I was a little bit
slingers, saber boys. Like,
well,
I don't know.
UFUs. That's what I was thinking. Like, would this be unaligned force users? And
they could be.
But
both.
then on the other side of it, though, like, imagine: do they want this to mess with the SEER team? Yeah. So it does. If it does go that way, but then I wonder too if there's going to be other people that they end up changing to where there's mercenaries. I mean, that would be pretty interesting. I mean. Yeah, technically, in a lot of ways.
So, who would be a mercenary in this game? Characters
that's a good
in
question.
This game.
It's interesting.
I can think of a couple off the bat. I think Kersantin.
Yeah.
Total mercenary. Fits as a mercenary so much better than as Hut Cartel.
Yeah, I mean, I would think a lot of the the bounty hunters in some ways, they could also be mercenaries too.
Yeah, I think some of the characters from Rogue One maybe would fit because that whole team had a kind of mercenary vibe.
True, yeah.
But whenever there's one of these situations where they come up with a new name like Rebel Fighters or like unaligned force users, because they're skirting some kind of weird synergy that might be gained. Like if you called Jedi Knight Luke a rebel, because he 100% is, and
he is a rebel. Yeah,
you can give me reasons why he's not, but he is.
He is. We know.
There's every single time there's a part of my brain that just says, tough. Deal with it. Make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not in charge at CG, and I don't claim that I could make it work. But there's a part of my brain that I cannot turn off that just says, I don't care. Call them a rebel.
Yeah.
Call them Sith or Inquisitor or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I don't know. Or Ufus, I guess, if that's the proper thing.
But I mean, there are people in this that have a tag that really don't really synergize with the other parts of the team too. I mean, do that. At least if he's a rebel, then just make it to where his kit still goes towards Jedi or other type of stuff. Like,
yeah,
it just makes sense
Rebels
to me.
Or this with Jedi or something. You know, yeah, whatever.
So yes, we put a question mark on that part. So is it real? We hope so. Maybe, right? Kinda.
Yeah.
Right.
But we know there's a Balin Skull coming, and he's going to be. These characters all make perfect sense.
Yep.
For his requirements, and did we go over all of it? Yeah, we did. Thrawn.
Yeah, we did.
Morgan,
Yeah.
Great Mother's Shin. So yeah, I guess I'll take Thrawn up to Relic 7 because that's literally all I can do right now.
I know. Just one.
Yeah.
Now the nice part is we hope it's just as good as the Jar Jar event, right? Like we hope that when this comes out, you get all these characters up to Relic 7, and it's the same enjoyment level, right? So
I'm gonna go one further and say as good or better.
Oh, okay. There
I'd
you
be
go.
open to better than the Jar Jar event.
So, well, can you talk a little bit about? I mean, I don't want to spill the beans before we take them out of the can. I don't know where I was going with that, but so
our metaphors are killing it.
I mean,
tonight.
like this is what happens when you take 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
I mean, you turn into just whatever this is.
Yeah. Let's
so
spill the Jar Jar beans.
There you go. Right. Jar Jar beans. That's how.
If you've been listening, I've been working on these Gungans, as many of us have. This is his second time.
Yep.
With any of these, with Cal Kestis, with any of the past kind of characters you have to earn like this, it's when it first comes out, it's really only the kind of whale type characters that get this. Either whether they're really whales or like a couple people I know that just really went hard for Jar Jar, and they don't normally, but they do. So the second time they come around is generally when disciplined players have a chance to get them. Disciplined, like free to play, or even like I'm not free to play, but I'm a very light spender.
Yeah.
Now I got a chance, right? So I am jazzed. And we got this Galactic challenge going at the same time that requires Gungans. I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah, right.
I'm finally going to get a max crate. This is awesome. And he shows up, and I try it a couple times, and I'm just getting my butt handed to me, and that's okay. I haven't remodded. I didn't really brush up on strategy. I watched a video the first time he came out, but whatever. So I get online, and I'm like, I'll look up the modding and the technique and figure it out. I don't mind doing that. I get it. I always say, like, the game shouldn't require you to do homework to play it. But
yeah,
if it's an event, a special event like this, I don't mind having to think a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So I do that, and I instantly see that before I can even get into how to mod, like, I'm seeing all over Reddit that, yo, this is not working right. So essentially, the shield generator was supposed to have 20 stacks of shield on it, and it was only starting with 10. And this was because they changed some things, because in some cases it was spawning the shield generator even if there were non-Gungans on the team.
Oh.
And so they kind of had to move around the order of operations of like when it summons versus when other things happen at the start of the battle. And they figured out, okay, cool, we got it. It works now. But then this Jar Jar event comes up, and it doesn't work in there. So you only get 10 stacks of shield, and with all those B2s just going ham on you, it doesn't take long for those stacks to disappear, and you can maybe take 1 or 2 of these B2s out, and then your goose is cooked.
Yeah.
So that was happening, and like it felt good to me that I didn't waste 2 hours on it like some people did. I was lucky in that I saw it quick. So CG hopped in, made it work the same day.
Yeah.
And as we're talking, the event's still going on, and it's fine now. It works. It's still really hard.
Yeah.
There are a couple phases, like you really have to remod, and you got to know the strategy. You got to read what these things do, or at least watch a couple videos. I watched the Calvin Awesome video, and it was super helpful. That said, all these events where you have to save up your shards and earn and grind and grind and earn for 6 months or so, and then the event comes around. At that point, my guild was talking about it, and we have mixed feelings, but I'm just put my feelings out there. After all that grind, I want the event to be easy.
Yeah.
I deserve the event to be easy.
I'm entitled to that.
Stupid easy.
Yeah.
But like, I should not have to sit there and play it for 2 hours trying to unlock this thing. And I don't say this often, although I say it more often lately. The thought of just uninstalling it and walking away, seriously, was in my head. I was like, this is so unfun.
Yeah.
It's not like, this is tough. It's like, I hate this. I literally hate this feeling of like working this hard at something. It finally arrives, and then it's immensely unfun.
Yeah.
And I've said this one, I'll step off the soapbox soon. I will. But the feeling of working so hard to get that Jar Jar, it's good.
Yeah.
Jar Jar is going to be awesome. I'm working so hard. And in the event, you play as Jar Jar and do nothing but get the snot kicked out of you over and over and over. And it just feels like, well, this guy kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I don't like him. He doesn't seem to be doing anything. A B1 just smokes him. That's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
It's a terrible feeling, and I can't pretend it's not. I love this game. But if one event really makes you think, I don't know if I should be playing this game. Like that's so bad. That's so bad.
But I think too, though, like if you have one of those in it, but I get what you're saying, though. I think it's just, if there was just one, it would be different, you know? And I think we just got through the Bo-Katan event. And I know for myself, I mean, how much extra relics did I have? How much extra resources did I put into it?
Yeah.
And did it work? Yeah, it worked. But on the other side of it, it's the same thing. It does seem like it's not, you know, it's like the Kenobi event for, you know, Galactic Legends. That was easy. I mean, you could just close your eyes and just point at it and you're going to win. And I'm okay with that.
We all still win after Kenobi. It's not like that hurts the game to do that. We're all still going to put in the work and spend the money. We're just not going to have a miserable day. Yeah. Well, and I feel like that's like, why would you make it that awful?
So, you know, but again, it goes back to what I was saying a second ago too, though, like the raid. I mean, the raid right now, I like it, right? There's a lot of great things for it, but the amount of time, the amount of work that goes into this, it's almost like we have a lot of just, you know, moments that we can take a step back and be like, man, this kind of sucks. Yeah. I know at some point, like when you get, you know, your Gungans going and you can basically hit auto for your that's going to be wonderful. And the same thing with the Padme and all the, like, it's getting easier, but on the other side of it,
they're
right
not all
now,
like that either. Like that Luminara one, you can't auto that.
No way.
You can't not remod, or at least not put significantly good mods on.
Yeah.
And then you don't have them available for other characters that need them. But I digress. We got a lot to say.
but I,
yeah. The level of difficulty you can't be giving us this difficult of stuff when there's this much stuff too. We got conquest going, we got territory battles going. That's enough to just keep us busy. Throwing Grand Arena, all right, cool, because I like some PvP, I like some competitive stuff, or territory wars, cool. But like when this stuff comes up and the raid, like I can't be spending all that time on that.
So yes, that is the Jar Jar event, the question mark conversation. But one person that we almost glossed over, right? We basically said, Death Trooper, hey, we're not going to be here for a bit. We'll get to you when you come back, right? So why don't we talk a little bit about our new Death Trooper? I can't even
look at him.
I know, right?
He's so scary.
Actually, before we start, how awesome is the fact that he like falls back into place? Like he doesn't actually. So like when you do one of his, I'm sorry, it didn't matter about this character, how good he is, or whatever. Like I love the fact that he falls back. It's just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. He's, the kit design is amazing. It's the necrotic tissue. God, it's so good. Kit design is really good. I like this character. I like what they're doing with these kind of undead troopers. And I'm surprised that I like them this much because I thought they were really cool in the show, and that surprised me because you remember years ago, before Disney bought Star Wars, there was a novel called Death Troopers, it was about zombie stormtroopers. And I just remember feeling like a lot of people loved it. I always just felt like it just doesn't feel very Star Wars to me. Like it feels like it's going into a horror genre, and I don't know. That's all water under the bridge. These guys are awesome. So yeah, Death Trooper Peridea is the new one. He'll be on the Night Sister, the new Night Sister team, or he's a remnant as well.
Yeah, he's a remnant too.
Yeah. So that could be in some interesting combinations there as well. So I guess, let's go over the kit and then we'll kind of talk about what he brings to the table. His basic is called Firing by Rote, and it is deal physical damage to target enemy with a 40% chance to inflict a stack of blight, which can't be copied or dispelled until the end of the encounter. If the target enemy already had blight, this attack deals double damage. If this attack scores a crit, all Imperial Remnant allies gain offense up for 1 turn. Dangerous. Otherwise, Death Trooper Peridea gains crit chance up for 1 turn. So while in Territory Wars, and if Death Trooper has their Omicron activated, gain 5 stacks of Siphon when this ability is used. Then the second is so good, and the image is so scary.
It does.
Just a little nibble. It reminds me of Amazon from the NES Pro Wrestling game.
Oh, yeah.
He had a move where he would just grab your face and go, nom, 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 nom. And I remember as a kid just thinking, that's so weird. I don't like that.
Did he, I don't remember, but does it have, green spray coming out of it like this one does?
I don't remember. It might. I don't know. So anyways, deal physical damage. You run up and just bite their face. Deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict blight. Can't be copied or dispelled until the end of the encounter. If they already had blight, also inflict 2 stacks of damage over time for 2 turns and remove 5% turn meter from the target enemy 3 times. which is interesting. Instead of just
so
doing 15, I guess it's like 3 tenacity checks.
Yeah.
Or 3 potency tenacity checks, whatever. If this ability takes an enemy below 10% health, instantly defeat them. If this ability defeats an enemy, Death Trooper gains a bonus turn, and the cooldown of this ability is reset. While in Territory Wars, and if all allies are Imperial Remnant or Night Sister, at the start of the battle, Death Trooper siphons crit damage from the target enemy, which can't be resisted. If this ability takes an enemy below 20% health, instantly defeat him. If the target enemy already had Blight, also inflict Armor Shred until the end of the battle. While this Omicron is active, firing by rote and necrotic tissue gain additional effects. Does it say what they are? Of course not. Awesome. Maybe it's... no, I don't see it. Well, that's cool. Can't wait to try that. But then also, let's see, siphon crit damage, gain a percentage of crit damage equal to this unit's siphon until the end of the encounter, and the target loses that much crit damage. Stacking excludes raid bosses and Galactic Legends, of course. And then the second special is necrotic tissue. This is the one where he like runs up and it looks like he throws a thermal detonator.
I know.
I think, and it just blasts him back to where he was.
I just love it. I just love it.
Deal physical damage to all enemies, inflict offense down and tenacity down for 2 turns. If the ally in the leader slot is Imperial Remnant support, dispel all buffs from all enemies. If the target enemy already had Blight, inflict a stack of Blight, which can't be copied or dispelled on a random enemy that doesn't have it. Okay. Until the end of the encounter. All allies gain offense up and speed up for 2 turns. While in Territory Wars, and if Death Trooper has his Omicron activated, this ability deals additional damage equal to 40% of his crit damage. And Death Trooper gains 10 stacks of Siphon for each debuff inflicted by this ability. Oh my god. That's nuts.
See, I always love it when they make it easy to know how you're going to mod the person too, though. When they say, percentage of health or percentage crit damage, you're like, all right, like, thank you.
But
this is
he's going to
easy.
be siphoning crit damage like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that does additional damage equal to 40% of his crit damage. And then gains 10 stacks of Siphon for each debuff. So once you do that move, like, I would open with necrotic tissue, right?
Yeah.
And
as
then
quickly as possible. Yeah.
It gives him a ton of Siphon. Oh, that's nasty. And then unique one, best name of an ability in the game. In Your Head.
Which is such a
because
awesome
he's
song,
a
right?
Death Trooper gains 25 speed. Imperial Remnant allies have plus 35% crit chance and offense. Night Sister allies have plus 35% max health and protection. If the ally in the leader slot is not an Imperial Remnant tank, whenever an Imperial Remnant ally is dazed, stunned, shocked, or inflicted with speed down, all Imperial Remnant allies gain 15 speed. Stacking max 60. For the rest of the battle, whenever an Imperial Remnant ally is critically hit, remove 3% turn meter from all enemies. Death Trooper gains 5% turn meter, stacking for each stack of Blight inflicted on an enemy. Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah.
I like, I'm curious to see more about this Night Sister team, but now we know kind of how this affects Remnant.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool that specifies if the leader is not a Remnant tank, which would be Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, correct? Mm-hmm. So if the leader is another Remnant leader, so Moff Gideon, basically, whenever a Remnant ally gets hit with any of that stuff, they all gain 15 speed for the rest of the battle. That's nasty. I like it. And it's stacked. So
I don't know. It just seems like it's going to be pretty cool. Either way, whatever it goes, Night Sisters are there. I think it just helps that team. So
I think it could. Yeah, I think it could be like. I mean, of course, in Grand Arena or in Territory War or whatever. But I see usefulness on both, and I'm curious.
Ooh. So
if
I just realized though, no, I totally thought I forgot for a moment that Moff Gideon was his is going to be in Grand Arena, right? Or is it Territory Wars?
Regular Moff Gideon?
No, the
Dark Trooper Moff Gideon is Territory War.
Yeah, so then if this goes with, man, 2 Omicron
Spicy.
team.
Spicy.
That just hit me for a moment there, so
he's a good one, too. He is definitely one that I have considered, even though I've been doing a lot of these Territory War ones, and, like, I gotta give myself a couple of GAC ones. Like, I deserve a little bit of love. I'm worth it. But no, I see this as being useful in certain situations and for either faction. And I'm curious what this whole new Night Sister team means for Secrets and Shadows.
Yeah.
I know that's not like a game that's here every day, but it kills me that is the one assault battle. Well, I guess 2 now with Duel of the Fates. But this is the one assault battle that I can't beat. Challenge Tier 3. So maybe with these new Night Sisters, maybe things shape up a little different.
I know, right?
But I like it. I like it. Speaking of how much fun we have in these time-consuming modes, how's your conquest going?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I have basically applied a cheat code a little bit. So this is the first. I've been really excited about this conquest, to be honest, just because I put the Kenobicron on, and let's just say, the Poncho Pals are packing a punch. We got a lot of P's in this one, so
punch,
right? And so, man, Kenobi. He basically gets every single, debuff, every single buff. And the fact that you do Zealous Ambition on this team in ×3. So Queen Amidala is a beast. Qui-Gon is a beast. It's been enjoyable. Now, the only thing I realized is you only get those benefits up to 50% of his stamina. So, whoops. But either way...
Oh, wait. So, if he's below 50%, you don't get them?
Yeah. So, unfortunately, that's the case.
That's a stinker. I know. Because I work these guys. Like, I use them all the time.
I know. And so, that means he still gets a lot of great stuff. But if it's above... if he's a 50 or above, then he gets basically everything from accuracy down, crit chance down, defense down, everything. And so there's still some positives, of course, and there's still a beast, but that is the downside. And so then I look up and I'm like, oh crap, they're at 20%, and I have just wasted. But really,
trying to get you those stim packs,
and I did too. I got one just to get him up where he need to be. So I am only in Sector 3. So it's weird because it just started. So this is the 3rd day of the event for us now. But I'm at 241. Disc wise, like I said, Zealous Ambition, I got 3 of those. Basically, R2's destroying people. It is just it's just working. It's great.
There's certain teams that are so good. Dash is so good.
Oh, Dash is great
because he's got high speed, so he can just open with an AOE and.
Gone.
You're good.
So, Ruthless Swiftness was a newer one for me. It basically just gives me turn meter every time that someone goes, 20. I think it's like 22% when they drop down in their health. So I feel like it just adds to it. I got a Fortified in there. I still do the heal overtimes, Protection Shield, and then another new one for me this time is Undercover. And so. If your health drops down, you automatically regen more of your health. So that's been kind of nice. And it's going pretty easy. I have, like I said, I know I could be a lot farther along, but I feel like I'm in a good pace. I'm going to get through this one relatively pretty quickly. And then with Kenobi, I just feel like I don't have that many excuses. I mean, I really when I'm looking at it.
I'm looking at some of the things he provides and like that would be nice.
and I think about it. It took 2 times to get accuracy up. That was it.
Yeah.
And that's sweet, so
one thing to point out, because this feels like you get so used to conquest being a thing that happens on a 3-month basis. Mm-hmm. You do it for 2 weeks, you take off for 2 weeks. You repeat that 3 times, and then you move on to a new conquest, right? But that Omicron, I'm just saying this because I had it in my head, is that like, it's pretty limited use. But really, that Omicron is kind of like, that's going to be there for future conquests, and they're going to have some kind of accuracy or evasion or some nonsense that you're going to have to put a weird team with Jedi Master Luke and Watt and someone that can do a weird thing and have them repeat it over and over. So I don't know. I think that's moving up my list of Omicrons. I don't know if it's my next, but golly.
I mean,
that sounds nice. That sounds really pleasant.
I don't think I can't see myself ever doing the shorty one, right? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, not
but
at
I mean,
all.
if they have another one, like where it's basically the same, I'll think about it just because it really just takes, because I mean, I do a decent amount of research just like everybody else, right? Or I let someone else do a lot of the research and I steal all of their stuff. But
there we go. Yeah.
Right, there you go. That's more like it. But still, like, I have to think about what I'm doing with him. I don't really have to think about it 5 times, I mean, that's just kind of nice. But so I'm in sector 3. So are you way past me? Are you killing me on this yet or no?
No, man, I'm in sector 3. I just hit sector 3. I haven't even started it yet. But it's interesting. Like, I feel like things are going a lot better.
Good.
A lot better. And whoa, holy smokes. There's 7,000 people have the Omicron for Obi-Wan.
That's not a lot. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's 8,000 have the shorty one. But I feel like things are going better for me, though, because I've got Jar Jar. True. And that team, first of all, you need to win with Gungans. And that gets a little sketchy as you run out of stamina. But not when you got Jar Jar. When you have a full team of Gungans, it's like easy. Really easy. So that feels really good. I also have my Poncho Pals up in Relics now.
Nice.
So that's going swimmingly. No problems there. I love the team of Jedi Master Luke with Watt, Padawan Obi-Wan, Master Qui-Gon, and Rex.
Oh,
You're knocking out so many feats when you use that team. And you even more, because you're getting all those other things. And it's just an absolute killer of a team. So, yeah, things are going well. I am on pace to unlock Luthen. I mean, I kind of messed up last time and didn't get Max Crepe, didn't buy any shards of him. And so now I haven't done the math. I have to get Max Crate and just buy a couple of the 5-packs. I bought 1 5-pack of shards. I think I have to buy like 1 more. I don't know. We'll see. But it's going well. I also I'm using a pretty similar loadout. I've got 2 Zealous Ambitions. But I'm doing a Volatile Accelerator, an Unstable Decelerator.
Yeah.
Kind of work against each other, but whatever. Ruthless Swiftness and Amplify Agony is what I have currently equipped. It's not perfect. I don't have any fortified. I always like to get at least 1 fortified because some of those grindier feats, you want to just go turtle mode and just get all the defense and protection and stuff that you can, so that you can try to apply potency down 1 billion times or whatever. So my discs aren't perfect, but I'm pretty happy with where they're at right now. And fortified, usually it will pop up. I've got 3 whole sectors to go through. I'll see one, I'm sure. I've seen protection recovery pop up, and I almost took it, but I prefer fortified, so we'll see. So moving from conquest to another time-consuming mode that I should be doing right now for my guild, the raid. How's the raid going for you at this point?
Well, I mean, I think what was the max for the last time raid was like 2, like what was the top one?
2.7 million.
2.7. Okay. Like,
yeah, I
have finally beat that max one for the first time. So I'm at 2.9 total. Okay. We're getting better. I mean, the first couple times it was basically my Luminara team was going to be the best one, and I could get about 1.2 ish. But I will say the Poncho Pals right now, and then with Queen Amidala, I was at 1.8 is basically the max one that I could do, which is what, 4, I think 4 or 5. I can't remember, but so it's getting better.
5, I think. Yeah.
But when I look at it, I mean, my Gungans are a little bit not there just yet. So, I mean,
do you have the Omicron on Phalanx, I think?
No, okay. I don't.
That makes it so stinking easy.
That's what I hear. Now, all mine, I don't have any, none of them are in relics yet. So at this point, it's kind of, it would be tier 1.
No.
So it just doesn't have even at 10, it's probably not going to be there. But I'm enjoying it at least. It's a fact that it just takes such a long time and I can't hit auto. I mean, I know everybody just hated the fact that it looked so bad in the last one, but you could hit auto and Leia just did it, right? And
it's not a huge deal. This one, you have to target the Staps.
Guaranteed.
You have to target the Droidekas. There's no way around that. Once you kill them, you could, in theory, maybe auto some of them.
Yeah.
Until
but then
the next round starts, but that defeats the purpose. Yeah.
Then they have they use the, when you go into space, they use the one that you don't want to use that turn, and so it's a different one. It just takes such a long time. But I mean, I'm going to get to that 3 mark. That's where I'm hoping for. I'm going to get better with my Gungans. So by the time this one's done, I'll feel like I'm okay. But I'm not okay. So how about for you?
Yes, little GOH therapy session. None of us are okay.
Right. You're welcome.
There's the update. I mean, it's going all right. I'm curious. I've got a raid active now, and now I have Jar Jar, and now I have Qui-Gon ready. So I've got 2 teams that have pretty drastically changed since last time I ran this. So we'll see how it goes. We both ran Wookiee Bot before the show in Discord, and putting in low effort, it looks like my Gungans should be able to get 1.2 mil. And they've come close. No, they've done 1.2 before. That's right. But now with Jar Jar, it's going to be, I have to imagine.
Yeah, hopefully.
Silly easy. I don't remod them. My Luminara team should be able to pull about 1 million. I don't know. My mods stink. This is low effort Wookiee Bot. So it says no remod auto, but I can't picture my Luminara team pulling 1 million on auto. I really don't think that's going to happen.
No way.
We've got the Queen Amidala team should be able to pull about 1 million now. So that's 3.2 just out of 3 teams. And then about another 1 million out of B2. And then a combination of a B2 team and a Maul solo on tier 2.
I tried it with mine. He didn't even get 1 move in.
Yeah,
actually, I lied. It wasn't 1 move. I think I got maybe 3 moves. It didn't work. So
that seems really off.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I trust that. But anyways, I think the Gungans are fun. the other teams, sometimes they're fun if you remod them, but like I don't want to do that every week. It's such a chore. And I know I'm a whiny boy. Like people are like, just save loadouts and make it easy. And I'm like,
I don't want to. I mean,
I just don't want to do that. I know that we've all got weird things about this game, and that's a weird sticking point for me.
I did put all the Jedi into like my favorites for at least to make sure that they're at least in gold mods. Gold, not to like the main gold, but like, you know, at least get to 6. And I'm like, okay, some of them didn't even have their, even their little stuff, even all their moves updated it without even the Zetas. So I'm like, okay, I guess I could do a little bit of work on them, but
jeez.
I mean, who wants to mod Kit Fisto anymore? So, but
I don't want to. All right. It is time once again for our Grand Arena breakdown. Win or lose, we're here to dissect our week or whatever you want to call it in maybe 3 weeks in Grand Arena. If you want a front row seat to the action next time, catch me live on Twitch, twitch.tv/theothersean. And I took some time off on that too, but I'm back.
There you go.
Now that Grand Arena's out of season. So join the chat, cheer us on, watch the chaos unfold. Ready? Neither are we. Let's do this. How was your whole event of Grand Arena? Because it's been weeks.
It's been a minute. I've been teetering between Kyber 2 and 3. I ended in Kyber 3, so spoilers.
So it went good.
I'm keeping up that 50% rule. Like I know they want us to be at that 50%. I'm staying there. So no real gains, no real fallbacks. Yeah. But round 1 was perfect. When I say perfect, it really was as perfect as I can be against 077 LaFleur. LaFleur. The good about this, Wampacron is fun. I mean, we can Wampa a little bit more. And I'm trying to figure out what I can and can't do with it. But let's just say it worked out this time around. That was kind of nice. Starkiller versus Rey is back. Love it. You don't have enough defense right now to make it to where I can't beat the Rey with Starkiller. Yeah. So that feels
squishy,
good.
Aren't they?
Right. I mean, and then SLKR versus Jabba. I'm going to be so disappointed when the Statacron goes away. Like, it is so much fun. I love it. I'm just like, last time it was Bane. Like, basically, Bane could defeat anything. When we got Bane and Slickers, oh, man, that was great. I had some Gungans on defense, so I don't go against Fermi Gungans in this neck of the woods. Kenobi took care of them, so that was really nice. And I always put it in here, good, bad, and sometimes the ugly, but just usually good and bad. There was no bad. I mean, full clear. Ended up getting 2052. They attacked once with a 64, and that was it. Easy
Sounds
first
like
win.
Me on vacation.
There you go, right? It was perfect. I mean, same with, it was great. So then I go to round 2, and I'm thinking, okay, here we go. This is great momentum. I just got promoted back into Kyber 2, and that was where it went back. I got kicked back real pretty quick there. So this was a loss against Mole Eldor, maybe? I mean, it looks pretty similar. SLKR destroyed Kenobi. Wonderful. Rey, guess what? Starkiller gotcha. And then let's talk about the bad. Bane this time around without the Datacron is, it's a rough one. Bane could not beat Leia. It was... Basically, it was a mercy, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't confident. I'm like, but you can do this, Bane, but he didn't. Then Kenobi against Leia, that didn't go well. I ended up taking out, obviously, one of them, and so took out R2 because we had a stealth on the other side. So then I had to use 3 Galactic... I consider Bane a Galactic Legend in my mind, but against Leia... And I used Leia to finish it up. And at that point, I knew I was going to be in trouble. So I didn't have a lot for Jabba. So I tried Sith Eternal. That didn't work. And then it's so bad that even Mon Mothma, my Imperial troopers couldn't take her out. So I'm like, And then in the back row, you don't have a real Queen Amidala team. You have like a second tier, she's Relic 3, the rest are, like Yoda and somebody else, not even the Poncho Pals. Yeah. And Jabba couldn't take her down. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to beat this team or something. Come on, Malicos, you can do this. No. So it was a tough one. I ended up winning 698 to 1696. There is no holds, right?
The one silver lining that I'll give you is when you're at that point where you're like, fine, Jabba. When that fails, you're like, well, I'm about done here. Right?
You
don't full clear, but you look at the rest of your roster, and that moment where you make the decision, I know losing stinks, but when you realize, like, I don't have to do this anymore. This is an L. I'm done.
Well, the nice part is that you just led me into what I was going to say for the next one. So it's perfect. So round 3 was another loss. Evany Kalsara is who I went against. The only good that I have on this is that I didn't throw my phone. I was really proud of myself. It was one of those moments where, there's not a huge amount of moral victories in life, but that was one of them for me. Yeah. And so let's get to why I didn't throw my phone, but I wanted to. I used Wampa against Unmasked Kylo because I don't know. I thought maybe with the answer is no, it does not work.
Kylo thought maybe not.
Yeah, Kylo was like, I'm unmasked, and somehow, some way, mine never does it, but he just became invincible, and it just ended up being a timeout, to be honest. It was horrible, but it is what it is. Now, where the real trouble began was Kenobi, right? So last time it was Leia. Leia basically kicked my butt, and SLKR didn't take down one person. Normally, it's like 2 moves and I just delete them. He beat my SLKR. Yeah. And I thought, well, okay, I'll use Leia. It should be fine. I should no. And then lastly, I'm like, I'm going to beat this team. And so I used Kenobi versus Kenobi. No, it just didn't happen. This Kenobi was undefeated this time around. And at that point, it just doesn't. There wasn't even a Datacron set on this team. And they turned into God mode for some reason. No Datacron.
Oh, man.
So this is not
a Padme one. Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't even... There was no Padme. This was just your normal generic one, and I just kind of just sat there for a second. I'm like, what in the world is happening?
Kenobi's one of those teams where there's only a couple things that can beat it. So you burn a couple of them and don't win. And again, well, at least I'm done.
I know, right?
I can go touch grass.
I get through the top section, then I get to ships, and all I'm going to say is...
Then it gets better.
I just don't like ships. Like, ships, they just suck. I'm sorry, but it wasn't even... It was another scenario to where it's like, that cloud, and it's just raining on you the whole time. It's like, that's all it was. Like, it didn't matter what I did. Like, I could be, I'm happy. Man. No, you're not. Like, so here's the thing, though, is they also had some difficulty. I ended up losing 577 to 1046. So it was doable. All I had to do is beat Kenobi, and I probably could have limped to a victory. And instead, I didn't throw my phone. So yay for me.
That's your victory. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I ended up with a crack on my screen protector.
Ooh.
It's not on my screen, but on my screen protector. And I don't even think it was when I was mad at the game. I don't remember doing anything with it. I didn't care about the game while I was on vacation. It was kind of nice. I played, but, not as much. Sorry, Guild.
Yeah, yes, there you go. So how about for yours? I know...
My week is weird. I was on vacation, so obviously not perfect. And we missed a couple weeks. So let me just say.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, too.
Event 1... I looked it up. I went 1 and 2, and I didn't attack in the finals. Oops. Event 2, I went 3 and 0. Killed it. Awesome.
Nice.
And then event 3, this most recent one, I went 1 and 2. I forgot to attack first round. So I thought, whoops, okay. So maybe I'll get easy opponents for the rest of it. And I looked at all the opponents and none of them were that easy. So whatever. Second round, I lost 1640. Or no, I won. I'm sorry, 1640 to 65. They barely did anything. And I don't remember what I stalled out on. There was like something that I just couldn't beat in the back. I think it was a Queen Amidala, actually. I just got back there and ran out of juice. And then in the finals, man, I hit a brick wall. That's the thing with 3v3 and when there's highly defensive teams out there and defensive datacrons, it gets a little crazy. My Sith Eternal failed against Leia. That was just not even a thing. It was wow, quick. And another thing that I've noticed here is since the visual update, if you lose a match, you have the option to just forfeit instead of accept a preloaded turn meter, which ultimately is cool. However, I did lose one match where I defeated like one or two of the enemies. I thought, well, all right, I'll keep that. But like I walked away and you only get so much time before it just decides you forfeited.
I know, right?
So they're not preloaded, but whoever you killed is still there. And you still get the loss. I don't like that. That's
agreed.
That's what happened to me. But bounty hunters dropped the ball against some Tusken Raiders. They took out Tusken Raider, but couldn't do the rest. Once Warrior gets going, people start dropping. So that was a bummer. Jedi Master Kenobi failed to take out Leia. At that point, like I said, well, I guess I'm done, right? I did kind of play around a little bit because there were a couple teams that were easy, but there was a Savage lead in the back sector that was just, it's kind of sneaky because you don't plan on it necessarily. You don't have someone that's like, this is for my Savage lead. No, I've got someone maybe if it's a trail lead with Savage, but there were a couple sneaky teams there, and that one, I did not have anything. I threw like a Jedi Knight Revan at it, and that was nothing, and something else, but whatever. My Mon Mothma got a hold against a Wampa. That feels like a pretty big victory.
Oh, yeah.
And my my Tusken Raiders held against his bounty hunters as well. So that's a thing, man. I don't know what's going on, but it's a thing. So at any rate, I lost 750 to 2017, and that's how I spent my vacation, losing a bunch at Grand Arena. Puts me in a good spot for 5v5, though. I'm going to have some good streams next week. All right, that's it. That's the main course. Now for the dessert. What you've all been waiting for. 3 weeks since you've heard us utter these words. Who are you grinding?
Ooh, man. The nice part is we actually got to talk a little bit about the menu earlier. You know, we've talked a little bit, so that way we know that it's here, right? So my Poncho Pals and my Queen Amidala, they are as far as I'm going to take them right now. Which means that with Qui-Gon, he's Relic 9 now. So he was 2 out of 65. Now he's Relic 9. So
dog. Yeah.
I know he's a big boy now, which is wonderful. Got his mods where I want him to be.
Daddy Qui-Gon is what that is.
I know, right? He's a master for a reason. And then Pad Ken, he's already Relic 9. So that means... again, it just is fun. I can't wait for the Galactic challenge where they come through. I'm looking forward to that. And then Queen Amidala, I was going to take her to 9. I don't know if I'm going to now. I went from Relic 5 to Relic 7, and I'm just not sure if it's really going to matter that much. I know it gives me a little bit more in the raid, but...
what I've thought about is possibly... you only run the 3 of them in the raid, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So I was going to say you could take her to 8 because R2 and Yoda are 8. So you have a full team for the raid at 8. I don't know. I'm new to this Amidala team, so I don't know if that's worth it or not. But that's something that crossed my mind earlier today. Yeah. I might take her to 8. I don't know.
I think it maybe at some point, we'll see what happens. But I mean, I enjoy it. It's great. Now, I was not ready for Jar Jar. I don't think anyone is ready for Jar Jar Beans. But Boss Nass, finally done. He was 61 out of 100 to now 7 stars. He went from gear 1 to a whopping gear 9 because, I'm that point already because he already needs Cairo at gear 9.
Crunch. Yep.
Right? And so Tarples, really nice. He was already at 7 stars. He's up to almost gear 13, so he's about ready to go. Just got one more last piece, which is, again, Cairo. Wonderful, right? Boomadir, I tell you what, remember, this is 3 weeks, and I have had multiple days through this Boomadir where I don't get any shards, and I'm not doing any refreshes, just one time, and he's fleet like a bum, right?
Yeah.
No, it's the other way around. Phalanx is the one that's either way. One of you guys is not a nice person. Boomadir is 34 out of 100. Sorry, 34 out of 85 up to 82 out of 85. Then Phalanx is 55 out of 85 up to 5 out of 100. It's a slow grind, but we're doing okay.
Slow grind.
There you go, right? And zombies. And then Lord Vader stuff. Really just working, getting where we need to. Only got 2 people left to get into 7 stars. Echo 23 out of 85 up to 2 out of 100. We're getting there. And Embo, in your birthday week, you went from 15 out of 100 up to 77 out of 100. So that's kind of nice. So really, it feels like I got a ton of people in my favorites because I'm working on some mods, working on, obviously a lot of stuff. I think
do that too,
right? In Lord Vader requirements suck. There's no other way around it, but it's going to happen hopefully before the end of the year, right?
I thought you just dropped a swear. You said they suck.
Yeah, they did, yes.
I thought you just said something, well, you know what I thought you said.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You're like, oh, great, we're going to lose that clean rating now because, okay. All right. You can tell we missed a couple weeks because we're, there you go. But Zeta's poor.
Yeah, we're normally polished.
I know, right? There you go. Man, okay, we can do this. We can finish this. Dark Trooper, not Dark Trooper. You know who I'm talking about. Moff Gideon with a better suit of armor. His unique, making it to where he basically kills off the weakest person. Got that taken care of for Zetas. And as you heard earlier, Pad Ken, man, that Kron is working wonders for me. So yeah. So that is my grind. It feels good to get one set of teams done to move on to the next. And sorry, Lord Vader, you're probably going to have to wait until Jar Jar's done, but it's going to be fun to get the Gungans where they need to be. So that's my grind. That's a 3-week long grind. Can you imagine a grind for 3 weeks? I mean, at some points, my calf muscles and my thigh muscles would be kind of like sore and tired, right?
Yeah. You get
a
little stinky too.
Right? So I need to know about your marathon 3-week grind. So who you grinding?
Yeah. I'm looking at my list. Looks like I didn't do anything, but I swear I did. So yeah, the Ahsoka stuff, I think I had already moved Snips up to Relic 9. Mm-hmm. So that's done. I'd been talking about it, and I moved Sith Assassin from Relic 5. I finally bumped her up to Relic 7. It's made a difference. It's definitely made a difference. Speed is everything with the Leviathan counter, or Leviathan mirror match. And I've found enough people, at least in my fleet shard, there's plenty of Relic 9s out there, but like this moves me up a tier where like anyone with a Relic 5 Sith Assassin, good night. I will beat you. Yeah. And it's doing what I thought it would do. So I'm glad I invested in that.
Nice.
My Amidala squad, Padawan Obi-Wan was at Relic 4 last we spoke, and I pushed him up to 5.
Nice.
Master Qui-Gon was at Gear 11. He's Relic 5 as well. So 7 stars, obviously. So that whole team is going to be a new experience for me in the raid, among other places. I don't know. I'll probably use it on defense in Grand Arena. It's just it's so thick.
Mm-hmm.
But that feels pretty good. The Jar Jar grind, obviously I got them all up to Relic 5. I got Jar Jar, took him to Relic 5 as well, so he can play on that team in the raid. I spent a lot of crystals, like all the crystals you get out of Grand Arena at the end of a season, and you just feel rich. I spent almost all of it this morning just getting everyone to Relic 5 so I can just be done with that.
Nice.
And I don't regret it for a second. I gave Jar Jar his Zetas, and then Omicrons. I did Embo Territory War. I'd been talking about it for a while. And here's the thing. I feel like I might have done another one somewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I did. It's been
too long. Yeah.
I think I did Embo, and that's it. And I'm close to another one. And I don't know, like Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi doesn't sound bad. Making Conquest less of a chore is just so valuable.
Yeah.
Winning one extra Grand Arena match or one extra defensive hold that you might get out of doing a Grand Arena one, that's cool. But man, taking some of the headache out of Conquest, I don't know. I don't know that I can put a price on that. That's pretty excellent. So we'll see. And then Datacrons, I kind of expanded a little bit, but I did a couple of rerolls. I will say I did a mod reroll and ended with a 28 speed secondary. And that's a good
awesome
day right there. I will write a little note on my nightstand that says today was a good day because I got a 28 speed mod. So I can just wake up and smile.
That's funny.
That was a good day, wasn't it?
Can you imagine someone's like, "How was your day?" It was wonderful. I got a 28 speed mod, and they're like, "Oh, that's great." I'm proud of you.
You notice that this game can make you happy, but it also has that power to put you in a funk. Like on my Jar Jar unlock day, I swear I felt bad. Like that should be a podcast topic in the future. Is that feeling when the game starts getting frustrated and you move that into your life, how to mitigate that. That's we need like a therapist.
There you
on
go,
the
right?
show. Every episode we need a therapist.
I know, right? Or we don't want to know.
That's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend letting the game ruin your life. We came close to it this week. If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server. It's linked in the show description. Become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review. Big thanks also go out to Abu Appa and swgoh.gg and swgohevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.